Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. We want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to all the people as it's coming up to the dates. We have Michael Oakland, who is the inspector for home inspections. We also have my wife, Sandra, and our good buddy, John. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah, so we want to make sure we say holidays are coming around. A lot of things are happening. And it's starting to get a little colder now. And so some things are going around the house that we don't really think about because Tucson is pretty much a summer place.
Oh, yeah. This is like, you live in a desert, man. It's warm all the time, except when it's not.
And we know it's coming, but we're never ready for it.
No,
right?
it's like,
Yeah, it just sneaks up on you and then punches you right in the face every morning.
Yeah, the Tucson police, a couple years ago, we had this snow flurry. They're doing like this bit on like collecting all this white powder evidence on the side of the road.
I saw
like,
that.
No. That's just water, sir. Okay, we're good. We're good.
That was a fun thing that
was
did.
very well done.
Yeah.
Creative that our local PD put that together. It was awesome.
We're going to get some insight from Michael about some of the things that inspectors are looking for and how they can help you as we go through this winterizing of your homes. I think that's the way we're going to put it. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's like a kind of bunch of series of micro winter time PSAs for how to take care of your house in the winter.
Yeah, and also I think every time we have you on the show, we give our listeners a sense if they do have you come do an inspection, they're going to get to hang out with the funny guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's always
this is
that.
true. Yeah, you got to kind of keep them reined in a little bit,
Yeah,
though. You can't let
That
them
is
go
true.
wild.
That's true.
So, yeah, I sent
do
you a
need
text
that.
this morning. We're talking about, hey, what are we going to talk about on the show today? And I was like, baby, it's cold outside.
Baby, it's cool.
Hey, we
Ready
need
started
outside.
singing.
we need to talk about that because the first thing I think that we think about is those freeze warnings and are your pipes covered?
Yeah, definitely make sure your pipes are insulated. Something I see all the time, like I'd say 90% of the time, maybe more, is people don't have their water supply lines outdoors or even in a garage or unheated space, any unconditioned space like a shed, a laundry room that's outside near a carport, anywhere. I mean, just make sure that your water supply lines that are exposed to the unconditioned air is going to be insulated. Now, most builders around here don't install insulation because we live in a desert and it's mostly warm. And so the odds of freezing pipes is extremely low, except once in a great while this time of year. I've got some buddies who do flood fire mold remediation work, and they're like, oh, yeah, we get all the freeze pipe calls and the floods. And, oh, yeah, he goes, it's just so common. So do yourself a favor, audience. Make sure you walk through your house outside and in the garage and make sure that any pipes that are exposed to the outside air are insulated.
And don't wait till it's 8 o'clock at night because when you get that warning that there's a freeze in the morning, you don't feel like going outside. It's cold out there. Nobody feels like going out and looking. So do it while the sun's
I
out
almost
and it's
feel like
warm outside.
we'll have Michael's public service announcement playing like 2 weeks from now as the pipes are bursting all over the city like they
dang
did
it,
7 years ago.
I told you so.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. This because I was told this a way to help avoid that, and it's probably a dumb thing, is to have your water outside just where it's dripping down. And that's just because you got water flow, therefore, as long as the water is flowing, it's not going to freeze.
It can slow the process.
Okay.
But honestly, not if it gets really cold. That's not going to. It's all that's going to do is you're going to have a longer shaped icicle at your faucet. That's all you're going to have. So you're just going to freeze it faster. Like honestly, hot water actually freezes faster than cold water because it emits the heat faster.
And our pipes don't go as far into the ground, do they? In this area?
No. The frost depth is much lower here, much shallower. So even footings on foundations don't have to be as deep because we're in a desert. So
I feel like I'm in a science class, but please go on.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I'm doing my job. Yay.
Well,
yeah.
along with preventing freezing pipes, because we know water is probably one of the most damaging things to a home.
Yeah.
It's also a time of year where we're going to be starting to use our fireplaces.
Yeah, if we took like an old Aristotelian ancient like 4 elements of nature, and we went like gas, fire, water, right, and earth, right? So we can just pick one of those flavors and just talk about it. So we've already talked about water. So we're talking about water damage. What about the gases? Okay, carbon monoxide can kill you. Carbon monoxide is an odorless, tasteless gas, still instantly liquid. It is among the more deadly poisons known to man. And I'm not talking about iocane powder from Princess Bride. I'm talking about carbon
Great
monoxide.
movie.
Oh,
Thanks for throwing
God.
that in there.
That was a far-reaching
That was-
reference there. I love that. Well done.
We went back to the 80s there,
We
baby.
can expect
Yeah.
those when we have you on the
I know,
show
I know,
for
I know.
sure.
So,
Hold
carbon
on.
monoxide.
You know the bad part about that is that I don't want to say this on everybody else. I love that movie.
I know, me too, right?
It's a classic, man. It's
Princess Bride, man.
oh my gosh. Okay.
You know what,
Sorry
Ray?
about that.
What were we talking about again?
I know, John.
The carbon
We should
monoxide.
probably
ways
get
to
back
die.
on track, right? Okay, we'll get back on track as you wish, John. As you wish. All right, here we go.
I must get my way sooner or later.
Carbon monoxide. Arizona State does not enforce typically installation of carbon monoxide detectors. I don't know why. In newer construction, they're starting to do that. But this is not something that home inspectors are required to look for. They should. Some standards encourage it, but the ASHI standards don't. So, but make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector on each floor of your house. If you have a 2-story home, one on each level, in the immediate vicinity outside the sleeping areas, typically translated within 10 feet of the bedroom doors. So if you have a common hallway with bedrooms upstairs, put one in that hallway. If you have a master bedroom on the other side of the house, put another one outside that one. So usually one or two will do it.
One thing I've seen, and I want you to talk about it. What if you have a
So your train of thought just derailed, right? I saw it. That's it. I feel like I'm
sorry,
feel like I'm watching The Fugitive with the train wreck right now.
Smoke,
Smoke
I'm going to
detector.
just jump in there. Smoke detectors.
Thank you.
So we know that people think that a new smoke detector is, has
Yeah.
a life expectancy, but really it depends on when it's manufactured
true.
rather than
Yes.
when you purchased it. So if it was sitting on a shelf for 3, 4, 5 years,
You want to look at the manufacture date.
yeah.
Because most manufacturers will say, if the manufacturer will say, if you open up a brand new smoke detector still in the box and it's more than 10 years old, throw it away, because the sensor is not going to be reliable.
Okay.
So even if it's quote new in the box, doesn't mean it's going to be reliable.
right.
So just go by the manufacture date. It's stamped on each one, just usually on the data plate on the underbelly. And if it's more than 10 years old, just swap it out, man.
ooh! I remember what I was talking about.
You, right.
Thank you. My turn.
Yeah.
Thank you. When we're talking about smoke detectors and having carbon monoxide, you can have one of those same thing that goes up in it does both of them, right?
Yeah, smoke seal combo unit.
Are they
yeah.
okay than just having the one down the bottom?
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
carbon monoxide thing are put on the
Well,
ground, right?
It depends on carbon monoxide is a little heavier than air. Yeah, it is, but you can. But many times by the time it's dangerous, it's actually warm and lighter than air because of the temperature of it. So it's going to rise. So it almost doesn't really matter where you put the CO detector. Some people will probably argue with that, and they can probably, launch a scientific reason why I'm wrong. Okay, fine, put it wherever you want.
They put a podcast.
Just have one there. Just have
I
it
would
in the
love
hallway.
to see
Yeah.
that podcast. That'd
Oh,
be very
right?
interesting.
It's like two nerds, like two ants fighting over a crumb at the picnic table.
So we've covered fire and we've covered. Well,
Okay,
actually,
we
we haven't
covered
got
water
to
and
fire.
smoke.
Water
Yeah,
and
okay,
smoke.
where
water
there's
and
smoke, there's
So when we
fire.
come back from the break,
Yes.
we're going to talk about fireplaces, and some prevention there.
So we're headed to the break. We got Michael Oakland of Horizon Inspection. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show with my wife, Sandra Johnson, our guest host, John McClain, and myself, I'm Ray Smith. I think that's my last name.
Yeah. You're a super
His
handsome man.
train of thought derailed, but yeah.
And we're with the Indy Realty Johnson Smith team. So
They're freaking awesome. You guys need to
Yeah.
hire them as your
Facts.
agents. Just do it.
Facts.
come on the other side.
Just do it.
We're back with Ray, Sandra, John, and Michael. We're talking about winterizing our homes and what we think from a home inspection standpoint, what we can do to help our clients and what you can do to help your homes.
So, Michael, when I first moved to Tucson, which has been years ago,
Give us a clue. Who's president then?
Sorry.
Sorry.
I can't do that kind of math. First day in the house, burning those boxes, and there's smoke billowing all over the house.
yeah.
We had raccoons.
Yeah.
There was no spark arrestor, so we had raccoons
Oh,
living
man.
in the chimney.
Mm.
So let's talk about chimneys and
Wow.
fireplaces.
You killed Ricky the raccoon. That's crazy. Yeah. So spark arresters, man, I literally just yesterday saw of a chimney. This is another PSA, where the tree branches that were really close to the house were actually literally touching the spark arrestor on this chimney.
Wow.
Massive fire hazard. Cut that back. Make sure that bad boy doesn't light up. It's not the kind of Christmas tree you want. So, I would say with fire safety, particularly this time of year, it's time to have fires. We want to, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. We want to do all that. So open your fireplace, do the little Pilates, crane your neck around with a flashlight and look up the flue as far as you can. Do a little gymnastics. Make sure you can see as far as you can. If you start to see creosote or like soot buildup, pay the extra money for the chimney sweep to come in there and clean that bad boy out. You do not want a chimney fire. A chimney fire is very expensive because the fire department loves chimney fires. They come out. What do? They climb on your house. They put a hose down your chimney and they flood your house. They probably are taking bets on who gets to do it because they're pretty dramatic. But I've literally talked to clients who were firefighters, and they actually enjoy it.
Oh wow!
The sick ones enjoy.
Now I was going to say you're speaking to Raymond right now, right?
Oh yeah,
this is not Sandra. This is a Raymond job right here.
Yes,
I don't
make
do
sure
yoga.
that your chimney sweep comes and cleans that thing out.
We're here today talking with Michael Oakland, who's from Horizon Inspections, helping you out for your winterizing things. And one of the things we're going to talk about, Michael, is you talk about winterizing your pool. Is that something that we should be thinking about?
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. As far as one of the simplest thing that every pool owner has their own philosophy on what they're going to do with their pool. So some are going to just let the pump run all year. They're going to keep it chemically balanced, and they're just going to let it just set it and forget it, like a Ronco rotisserie chicken. Others want to save money. Sorry for the reference there, and the free advertisement for them. So some are going to want to turn their pump down. They're going to dial it down to maybe 4 hours and save on the electricity and make sure that the pump is still healthy and working, but they're not going to go completely silent. Not going to go quiet on it. So
when you're talking about winterizing, about putting covering on your pipes outside, that should include the pool pipes too. They're external, right? Should they be covered up?
Supply lines are going to be a little bit more sensitive because the diameter of those pipes is a little bit thinner.
Okay.
So they're going to be more vulnerable. But insulating those giant water lines for your pool pumps is probably not as essential.
Okay.
And if it's moving all the time, it's not going to freeze.
Let's talk a little bit about the holidays.
Okay.
And I know you were mentioning kind of the load on electricity and some of the creative stuff that goes on out there.
Say something that'll make them sing another Christmas
song.
song.
Gosh, I'm thinking Christmas Vacation. That's what comes to mind.
Oh man,
say Jingle Bells or something.
Yeah. So I'd say that Trey, my train of thought derailed, bro.
You're welcome.
Christmas
yes,
song
I know it comes
statement,
around. It comes around.
So we're talking Christmas Vacation. Your competition
so we got
between neighbors,
got the
right?
Chevy Chase Christmas tree with the killer squirrel in it. So just make sure that if you're going to be using a lot of lighting around your home, a lot of decorations, be particularly careful about having too much of electric load where you're putting so many lights on this particular circuit that you could actually, if a circuit is tripping frequently, that's a clue. Don't overload the circuit. If you have too many lights, we don't want to leave our lights up all year and have these extension cords, which are really lightweight wires, just constantly exposed and available to, they're easily damaged. So, it's probably worth the investment to change out your lights every few years so you're not just reusing the same old worn lights that are much more vulnerable to electrical fire.
Yeah.
So and definitely with ladder safety is super important when you're putting lights up as well. Don't do that when there's frost on the ground.
Last week or I think a week and a half, we had like almost 4 or 5 days of rain, and with all that rain on the water, and I had my lights on the ground, and that was something that I've realized it's probably not a good idea because if you don't have every one of them connected, it'll pop a circuit breaker because electricity, but the lights are on the whole time.
Well, yeah, and if you have, this is another thing because we never got to our fourth element, which is ground.
Yeah.
So here's our little stretch: ground fault circuit interrupter. Your outside lights, your holiday lights, are typically going to be you want it to be on a GFCI, what's called ground fault circuit interrupter circuit. If you have an older home that does not have ground fault circuit interrupter, spend the $25, get one. Install it on the first receptacle that's downstream of the panel and upstream of all the rest of the outlets, and make sure that the rest of them are protected. You protect one circuit, you've protected all of them. So make sure that your outside lights, if you do have lying something on the ground and it starts to have a voltage leak into the ground, it's going to trip and you're not going to electrocute yourself.
Change a little bit about water tanks and water heaters and pumps. Do they have something you should winterize those anyway? Anything you think about when it comes to those things?
Well, if you're still living in a house and using them, if you're, since we're kind of a snowbird state, people are usually going to be here living in the house during the winter. Wintertime is a good time. If you're going to be doing maintenance on your water heater, it's a good time to drain it. If the house has been vacant for a prolonged period of time and the water's cold, there could be biogrowth in it, mildew, any kind of phosphates that might be conducive to kind of nasty water like you might have in a pool. Drain the water heater. Take a few hours, get the hose up, connected to it, drain the thing, and flush it out.
Is that a Google thing?
Yep, you can. In fact, Google that, how to do it safely, how to do it right. Yep.
How long is it going to take? Because there's a lot of water, right? Depends how big your tank is.
Yeah, it depends.
Back up.
Like most around here, the average water heater tank that I'm seeing in Tucson is around 40 gallons.
Okay.
Maybe 50.
So for that month, they can expect to see a little higher water bill, but a better
Not
water
a whole
tank.
lot. I
Okay.
mean, like filling a 12,000 gallon pool is going to cost you a couple $100, but filling a water tank isn't so bad.
So if somebody doesn't want to do the yoga neck twisting stretch and look up in their chimney, you actually could be hired to come out and just look at a home. And if someone's been in their house for a while, they may not think to look up and see maybe some water staining or different things. So how would someone get a hold of you?
They get a hold of me through phone, area code 520-330-9703. You can text me there. You can call me there, old school, like voice to voice, human being to human being, right?
Good old style.
Do we still do that?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard it. Okay, good.
Yeah, you can also email me at michael@horizoninspectionsllc.com, or you can check me out on my website at that same name.
And you're working, I assume, through the end of the year?
Yep. And then that's the plan, working through the end of the year.
All right.
We like
So no vacations planned. That's all I'm saying. You're going to pick up the phone and answer.
I'll be in church on
something,
Christmas, just so you know.
Well,
that's where I'll be. So
that sounds like a great idea to me.
We're thankful to have one of our great sponsors, Michael Oakland of Horizon Inspection, with us today. We appreciate you coming out today, Mike. So thanks a lot. If you're looking to buy or sell your home, if you have any questions concerning real estate, we would love to help you. Please call the Johnson Smith team. Hope I get these phone numbers right at 520-850-1725 or 520-904-7711. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show on 1030 KVOI.
The voice of Tucson. Definitely call Sandra. It's this Beauty and the Beast. She's the beauty, he's the beast. Call Sandra.
Yeah, and you
She's
always
cool.
say that number wrong. It's 904-7711.
77. There you go. See?
904-7711.
And call right
This
now.
train has wings. It gets back on the track.
See ya to another side.